Hi guys, my name's Jennifer Wyman and I'm founder and director of Bridge the Gap Child Mental Health. So we're a charitable organisation that supports the wellbeing of families. So we work with children, parents, teachers. We're a preventative, proactive service, and everything we do, what's embedded within that is positive relationships and emotional literacy. So today I'm going to share with you my top 10 emotional literacy resources that can be purchased. So we create a lot of free resources and we do lots of different crafts to make your own emotional literacy resources. I'll do a separate video on that, but for this one, this is resources that you can buy. Number one on my list is Emoji foam balls. We've got a crate of them. They come in bags, they're available from Amazon. We've got lots of different ones because obviously we use them a lot. Here are some examples of them. So they're very soft, they're foam, you can squeeze them, but there's quite a bit of resistance on there, so there's a bit of feedback for the child. They can come in either yellow or with different colours. And there's so many different ways to use these. So you can have them all in a bag and you can ask a child to choose which one they're identifying with. And then you could play a lovely game of catch with that. That's repetitive and rhythmic and can really help to bring a child down. You can just use them as you would any other balls in any other ball games, and just that's bringing a bit of emotion in there. So it's just having it there. It's creating curiosity around emotion in a really fun, safe way. You could have a crate like ours and you could have that filled with balls, and then they can throw them around the room if they're really angry and then throw them back into the crate. They're really great, they're really soft, they're really visual. Some children might find them too visual, so just be aware of that. And if they feel like this is too much for me to engage with, pull back from it. There's going to be something for everybody in terms of emotional literacy, but it's making sure that you respond to how the child responds to that. So these are great, really inexpensive, around a tenner from Amazon. Great. Number two on my list is a small business called Tom Tags. Now, Rachel created Tom Tags for her son Tom, who's autistic, and he needed a little bit of extra help exploring emotion. So I'm cheating a little bit because I've got two of their products, but I love them both. And this is the I Can Do It feelings thermometer. So it comes in a little bag, share how I feel. So for a lot of children, it's really hard for them to recognize how they feel in their body with their emotions. For all children, for adults, this is something that takes so much time, so much learning. The prefrontal cortex part of our brain that's responsible for regulating emotions and impulse control doesn't mature until around the age of 25. So there's a lot of repetition. So a child might really struggle to actually name how they feel, but they might be able to identify and then communicate that. So these are great because again, they're very sensory. So they could turn over all the emotions that they don't feel and leave the one that they are identifying with open to communicate that to someone, or they could do it the other way round. But it's really nice. They're also really nice for younger children just to help them in their proactive exploration around emotional literacy. They come with a little keychain so you can attach them to a bag, either inside or outside, and they're really inexpensive because they're just £4. We actually stock these on our shop, but the Tom Tags website, Orchid Ideas, has many, many more as well, but I'll link them down below. The other product from their range that I absolutely love, and we order at Bridge the Gap, is the Feelings Notebook. The Feelings Notebook is designed to help children be able to identify when and where they feel an emotion, how much they feel it, how they respond to that, and to perhaps consider different and new coping strategies. But the way we most like to use it is in restorative conversations. So after a child has reacted a certain way, we can unintentionally go in and add shame to a child. But if they've had a hijack, an amygdala hijack, there's no coming down from that until they are calm. They can't really control their impulses at that point. So this is a really nice way to have a conversation about what's happened without adding shame into the equation. So it says when and where, it asks how they were feeling, and there's stickers that they can add to that. It asks how much they were feeling it, and again, they can shade that in and colour it in. It asks what happened, how they were able to help themselves. That might be by poking their sister in the eye. It asks them what they could try next time. So that's an opportunity for you to introduce a strategy and to try and get them to maybe identify when they could use it. So maybe before it reaches that point of hijack. And then things to share is beautiful because it gives you an opportunity to share how you feel about each other. It might just be that I love you, we all make mistakes. It might be a little picture or a doodle of a love heart, but that really helps to reconnect your relationship after a situation like that. If a child has been made to feel shame at different times around that explosive and angry behaviour, they might be quite resistant to engage in something like this. So take it at their pace. Maybe you want to use it for yourself and model the use of it first, making sure that it's not something they're made to do, but something they're encouraged to do and that they actually enjoy that time with you. So it becomes more open, more safe. So Tom Tagg's feeling notebooks and the feelings thermometer. Love it. Number 3 on my list is Emoji Dice, Emoji Cubes, conversation starters. So we have lots and lots at Bridge the Gap, as you can see. I've picked a selection here, but there's lots of different designs and brands out there, really inexpensive and really great to use. These are an example. You have words of emotions on, you have some with pictures of children feeling different emotions. You have some with the emojis on, and you have some with questions. So what makes you feel proud? What makes you feel anxious? And you can use these in so many different ways. So you could use them to roll the dice and each pull the face or act out a scenario that you felt that way. You might want to roll the dice and both share a time you felt that way. You both might want to just guess what might have happened to make the child pull that face. There's so many different ways to utilise them. They're lovely, relationship building, connecting. They can be used proactively from a young age to help children learn about emotions and be comfortable having conversations around that. So I love those. They're inexpensive and I'll link them down below. Laura from our team just made me a cup of tea. Very grateful for that. Gotta love a brew. For number 4, I'm going in with some books. And the 2 that I've chosen are 2 that I've really started to enjoy during lockdown and reading them to children, both in online after school sessions, in clubs, here at the Rainbow Place, online in our Facebook groups. And these are 2. So When Happiness Begins and When Sadness Comes to Call. And I love the way that Eva has expressed these concepts to children in such a beautiful and poignant way, and actually in a way that is really expressive and great for us as grown-ups. And I think we can connect with this, which is really important because it helps us to become more comfortable with these emotions, which then helps us to support our children with them. So When Sadness Comes to Call, it's great because it introduces the concept of coping strategies as well. It introduces the concept that sadness is just an emotion. It can exist alongside us. We actually need sadness in our lives. But when it's there, how do we respond to it? And it's beautiful. And it introduces, as I say, the concepts of coping strategies. So for example, go for a walk through the trees. You can listen to their sounds together. So introducing mindfulness to children. It's beautifully illustrated. I just can't sing its praises enough. Stunning, stunning book. The second one that Eva Eland has written is When Happiness Begins. And I love this because it's a really good representation of how so many of us can fall into the happiness trap. So believing that happiness is something that we're constantly striving for, that we have to be up here all the time and that's happy, when actually happiness is just like sadness. It's a mood and we exist alongside it. But actually what happiness is so much more than one big emotion. It's lots of little things that when we pay attention to them, we can lead a really rich and fulfilled life. So I love how this represents that. Being with others, happiness is all around us. Oh, love, 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 love. I'm going to go in now with a bit of Dr. Karen Treisman because I cannot do a top 10 without some Dr. Karen Treisman resources, because she's amazing. She creates such beautiful resources for us to use as practitioners, but also these are really great for parents in the home, and we really help support parents to know how to utilize these in the home so that they can continue to have these conversations with their children and support them long after any work that we do has stopped. So 2 that I'm choosing, because again, I'm cheating a little bit because I can't choose just one. So I'm trying to go a little bit differently than choosing just the feelings cards. That might be something that you would think I would be recommending, which I do because they're incredible. But trying to get across the fact that emotional literacy is so much more than just knowing what emotions are called and how they feel. It's being able to adjust our responses in accordance to those emotions. And in order for us to do that, we have to have a really big tool bank of resources and strategies. And Dr. Karen Treisman really does this beautifully. So I've picked out 2, which is Gilly the Giraffe, the Self-Esteem activity book. Each of the activity books that Dr. Karen does comes with a beautiful story with images. You can even buy a soft toy to go alongside it. And then it has lots of different activities based around that. And if you do them in the order, it really does take you through a process, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. We get so much inspiration from these books for our sessions. Children love looking through them and choosing activities they would like to do with us. Just wonderful. And on that thread, the grounding, soothing, coping and regulating cards we love, because again, it's helping children to explore the concept of what emotions are, that they're there to inform us, and how to respond to them. These cards are gorgeous. So in sessions, we will lay them out on the side for children to explore. They might make a little list of some ideas they'd like to try at home, or they might pick an activity out that if we're working with them one-to-one, for us to explore over several weeks and to create something really special together. So they're beautifully illustrated. They're just gorgeous. So many different ideas of how to cope with emotions in a proactive way. So how to embed strategies in your daily life, but also in times of crisis when we need a little bit of extra support and guidance. So absolutely lovely. Lovely. I just don't know what to say about them. Every time we get them out and look through them, we're all sat round as a team going, I just love these. I just love these. And they give us so much inspiration. So not only are they great for children, not only are they great for parents to have at home, they're also great for us as practitioners to have these and just be inspired by her amazing work. Next, we have the mood cards. These are great for older children and adults. They're wonderful, and they've helped me personally so much be able to understand my emotions more and my moods, and explore that through emotional writing and emotional creativity. So they come in this box, and there's a lovely card that explains how to utilize them and give you lots of different instructions. They've got instructions for how to use them for self-help, as well as activity ideas to use if you are a practitioner or a parent. And there's so many different moods in there. And on the back of each card, so you could just lay them down and ask your child to choose one that they feel drawn to and connected to in that moment. And then you can explore the back of that with them. So I've done this a lot over the years with my children. So this one is regret. So the questions are, what are your regrets? What were the reasons for your actions? What are the consequences for you now? What can you do differently next time? And then on the back, there's an affirmation. I can learn from the past, think through my options and make the right decisions. All will be well. How lovely. And I also like to invite children and adults to come up with their own affirmation as well off the back of exploring that, because I think that's beautiful. So these are just stunning, stunning cards. So useful. They've got other sets now as well, but these are my favourite ones, the original, the mood cards. Great, great resource. So I've actually lost count now. So typical of me. Well done, Jen. Have a sip of tea instead. I want to say 7, but I can't be sure. Anyway, next on the list is another small business who we just adore at Bridge the Gap. This is a fantastic resource for very young children. So this is great for early years. My Mood Stars. How cute are these? Ooh. So these no longer come on the board. We had this probably 2.5 years ago now. But they come and they're beautifully packaged, but they're very soft plush stars, and they all have a different emotion on them, a different mood. These are created by a lovely lady who goes by the name of Wendy Wu. She's fantastic, and yet again she's created something based on her lived experience. She's just passionate about getting emotional literacy into children's homes, into schools from a young age. So these are just beautiful, and there's so many different ways you can use them. Wendy has a free download on her website with ideas for games and things. It's just so great. But you can also purchase the My Mood Stars book, and this is lovely as well because it's just so simple. I love the simplicity of it. I just find her so inspiring, and these stars have been used so much in our service. Children are drawn to them. They really are, because they're soft, they're tactile. They can take one to bed with them if they're feeling connected to that particular emotional mood that day. Just lovely, and so many different games you can play. My favourite to play is to put all of them out, tea towel over the top, take one away and see if they can guess which emotion was missing. And then I ask them, can you tell me a time that you felt that way? It's just really fun. My Mood Stars. Next we have the Happy Self Journal. Again, another small business. I love Francesca, who created the Happy Self Journal. So lovely, and she's always been so supportive of us with our emotional health workshops that we've done. We used to give a copy of this away for every child when they came. It's beautiful because it's so fantastic for nurturing emotional literacy. So it has different pages for every day. It has goals and targets in it if you're into that. And it just has a date. It has a quote. So this one says, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Love that. It's got top 3 things from the day that you can put down, an emoji of the day. You can write your own affirmations, which I love, but every day is slightly different, and I love that. It's got stuff to explore self-esteem, and it's got a little page, which I love, Emoji Fun, where they can draw their own emojis. I love this. This is around £20 from the Happy Self Journal website. Again, I will link it down below, but it's really beautiful. It's beautifully made. It's soft, it's tactile. You can see it's embossed. Don't know if you can see that. Really beautiful resource. Love it. Okay, next we have the Little Pot of Feelings. Now this is also going to feature on our Make Your Own, because I think as I'm talking to you about these, you can see how easy it would be to make your own. But the amount of different feelings that are in this pot are great, and I think we'd all struggle to think of this many different feelings. So they're really simple. They are what they say. There's ideas for using them on the insert on the inside, but there's just a pot full of different feelings. So again, you could use them like charades, you could use them to open up conversation, you could use them to pull faces and have each other guess which ones they are. Or you could use it if you were to do an emotion iceberg, which is available on our website, and you wanted to use words rather than getting them to draw it out or write out the names. Things like homesick, hopeless, startled, relaxed, grateful, self-conscious, arrogant, ecstatic, petrified. Really great words. These are great for older children as well. Another really lovely way we like to utilise these is getting a child to pick one out and just create a collage around that emotion that they've picked out. So it's really interesting because they might pick out one that they wouldn't have thought to explore, but actually once they do, and they're doing that in a creative, therapeutic way, it's a lot of fun and it creates a lot of opportunity for discussion. So these are really great Little Pot of Feelings cards. Easy, accessible, love. Next one is more books, but again, cheating putting lots together because there's so many great emotional literacy books that I could have just done my top 10 emotional literacy books. Maybe I'll do that. a different time. So here's a couple of my favorites, and what I wanted to share with you was the Way I Feel range. The Way I Feel range is great because it explores such different topics. So I love this one, When I Care About Others. It's got When I Feel Sad. What else have we got here? When I Feel Angry, When I Feel Good About Myself, When I Miss You. So many different concepts and emotions and feelings, ways of exploring self-esteem. They're all beautifully written, beautifully illustrated, and I love that you can do this, read these stories with children just as you would any other story. You don't have to go somewhere with it. It's just a story. It's drip, drip, drip feeding this emotional literacy development, which is so important, and we can do it from such a young age, and these stories make that so accessible. So beautiful books, When I Feel series, available on Amazon, again, really inexpensive. And finally, number 10, I would be stupid not to put one of our own up there. So number 10 on my list is our Understanding Anxiety Guide and Activity Book for Children. This is great for children from around age 5, 6, I would say, to around 12, 13 even. Really great, depending on how much knowledge they have around anxiety previously. So this is a beautiful book. It's designed to help nurture self-esteem, nurture emotional literacy development, and to help children to understand what anxiety is, that we need it, we don't want to stop it, but we want to be able to respond to it and give them ideas on how to do that. So each page, excuse me, each page has information on around anxiety. They can draw on all these pages, the emotion iceberg, they get to explore that. They get to explore how it feels in their body, the things that fill their stress bucket up, the things that empty it. They can create a thoughts jar, looking at worries and dreams and nightmares, colouring pages, exploring what's a future-based worry, what's an actual worry, all of those things. Problem-solving guides, so much. Self-esteem, it's got a coping guide with lots of examples of things that they can take to add to it. It's got pages of coping strategies, blank page for them to create their own. It's got information about relaxation kits, grounding. It's beautifully illustrated and it's just gorgeous. And a little reminder on the back page there of how important it is that they know the value of them as they are. So the Bridge the Gap Understanding Anxiety Guide and Activity Book, available on our website. So that's it, guys. That's my top 10 emotional literacy resources that you can purchase. I will do another video sharing perhaps my top 5 emotional literacy activities, so things that you can make. If you've liked the video, you found it useful, please do leave a comment and give us a thumbs up. Something new that we're doing, building up our YouTube channel so that we can share these things with you. But obviously it does take time and it takes resources, so please do show your appreciation and let your friends know as well.